What's my opinion on your favorite driver? Stay tuned to find out. Hey, what's up guys, it's Sam here. How are you guys doing today? We're having a fantastic day today. I'm going to be doing my opinion on every current driver. So I went to last week's entry list because I was going to do Watkins Glen entry list, but then I was like, Watkins Glen's a road course. Usually at the road courses they have different drivers for that, so like Boris Said used to join in, which luckily he's not on that entry list because I hate Boris Said. But they'll have a few different drivers because it's a road course race and they have the road course specialists. So I decided to do the Pocono entry list. So let's look at every driver in number order, active driver, and I'll tell you my opinion on them. So let's start off with number 1, Landon Castle. See, Landon Castle I used to hate. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't like him. But now I like him a lot. He's a great guy. He's very athletic. Not as good of a driver, but that 5th place finish at Talladega a few years back, I kind of wish he had won that. I really wish he had won that. That was a good race. Jamie McMurray is in the number 1 car. Jamie McMurray, see, my thing with him is he really needs to step his game up because there's a lot of guys in the younger series who are going to be stepping up into his position. I think either this year or next year is his last year on this contract. So, I mean, either John Hunter Nemechek needs to come up to that spot, or Christopher Bell needs to come up to that spot because Kyle Larson's doing just fine in the 42, which is his teammate. And Jamie McMurray, if he can't step it up, he's not going to be around for much longer, at least in this. But McMurray, he's not a bad driver. He's good at Charlotte. He's good at Talladega, Daytona. But he hasn't won. He won the 2014 All-Star race, but he hasn't won an actual race since 2013 at Talladega. So it's been a long time. So he needs to step his game up or else he's not going to be around in the number 1 car for much longer. Brad Keselowski, again, I used to hate Brad Keselowski back like when I first started watching NASCAR. But back then it was like if you wrecked Kyle Busch, I hated you. But now, it's kind of weird that I don't hate Keselowski because Kyle Busch hates Keselowski. And I'm like the worst ever. I like Kyle Busch and I like Brad Keselowski. I like Kyle Busch and I like Logano. I mean, it's just, I don't know why, but I'm just not a real hating kind of guy. I don't hate much of anyone. So Keselowski, I like Keselowski. He's a great driver. This season he's not doing too well. I think he needs to step his game up if he's gonna, win the championship. But I think he's gonna win a few races. But I'm not sure if he'll make it to the Final 4. Austin Dillon. I love Austin Dillon. Kamikaze Games, for some reason, hates Austin Dillon. I don't get it. Austin Dillon is awesome. He's my 4th favorite driver, I believe. He's my 4th favorite driver. Won the Daytona 500. I remember when I was sitting there watching the Daytona 500, I was literally crying because that just means so much to the sport of NASCAR that Austin Dillon, the 3 car, gets back into victory lane. Not only that, but at Daytona, and it's a Daytona 500, the 17-year anniversary of when Dale Earnhardt died, and the weekend of the 20th anniversary of when he won the Daytona 500. So, it was the 40-year anniversary of when Dale Earnhardt ran his first Daytona 500. So yeah, I think Austin Dillon's awesome. People hate on him because he's like just in here because of his grandfather, but I don't think that's true. I think, you legitimately have to have skill. He proved that at Charlotte last year. And I know you guys are thinking, Sam, that was a fuel mileage race. I don't care. He still had to figure that all out. He still had to have the numbers in his brain to figure it all out. I mean, yeah, Slugger Labby might have helped him with that, but he had to save. He had to save. You didn't just get handed that win. He did not just get handed that win. So, I mean, he kind of did with Johnson running out of fuel, but I mean, I was pretty happy that night too. Kevin Harvick, I don't hate him. I don't hate Harvick. But at the same time, I don't like him. Like New Hampshire a few weeks ago, it's not that. It's not that. I've said many times, I don't blame him for doing what he did. He had to do that to win. And even though it was against my favorite driver, I cannot blame him for doing that because you got to do what you got to do. But there's just something else. I don't know what it is. But I don't like Harvick that much. He's a great driver for sure. And I like his personality. I mean, because he's a lot like Kyle Busch, but he just has a different kind of way of going about it, though. I don't know. I mean, Harvick's obviously a great guy, a great driver. I just don't know what it is about him. I can't quite pinpoint it, but there's just something about it that I don't like. Matt Kenseth. See, Matt Kenseth, I used to absolutely despise Matt Kenseth. I used to like him. When he joined Joe Gibbs and he won like 7 races in that one season, I kind of started to just not care as much, but I still liked him. And then it was after that Martinsville situation that I was like, you know what? You're an asshole. Or it was after the Keselowski situation at Charlotte where I was like, okay, but I still liked him. And then after the Logano situation at Martinsville, I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this dude anymore. And I mean, that's like one of the few guys that I've actually had a grudge on for that long. It was in like 2017, the end of 2017, like after Homestead, after he retired, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I mean, I don't care anymore. Now I like him. Kenseth, I mean, that he's not running full-time anymore, I like him. So, Trevor Bayne's also in the number 6. He's not on the entry list, but we'll talk about him too. Trevor Bayne, I mean, he's not that good of a driver. I'm going to tell you that much. He's a great guy, and obviously he won the Daytona 500, but, I mean, so obviously, like I said, if you win any race, you're obviously skilled, but he's just not that great of a driver anymore. I don't know what it is about him, but he won his first Cup race before he won his first Xfinity race. That's something. But Trevor Bayne, I don't know. Like, everybody hated him for what happened at Bristol this season, but I like Trevor Bayne. But I just don't like, that he. I want him to get a win because he's gonna be out of the car by next season. Pretty much, it's pretty much gonna be a thing if he can't do anything. All right, Reed Sorensen. I don't really know who that is. I do know who it is. Reed Sorensen. I don't care. I don't care for him. I don't really. I mean, I don't really know who that is. I know who it is, but I don't really know who that is. So I don't care for him. Chase Elliott in the number 9 car. I love Chase Elliott. He's awesome. I wish he would get his first win, but I tweeted a few days ago like I kind of don't want Chase Elliott to get this first win, because then the feeling of wanting him to get his first win is no longer going to be a thing. It's kind of weird, but I want Chase Elliott to get his first win because, like, he deserves it. He's going to be a future champion. But my thing about it, too, is, like, one win comes to another win, and then it's just going to get annoying. So I get annoyed when drivers, like, continuously win races, unless if it's Kyle Busch, obviously, but Chase Elliott, I want him to get his first win, and I want him to win races, but I don't want him to be like a 10-win-a-year kind of driver, because I like Chase Elliott, and that's the kind of thing that makes me not like a driver, is when he wins too much, and obviously, if it's not Kyle Busch. So, I don't want him to win like 10 races a year. Eric Almirola, I love Eric Almirola. He came half a lap from winning the Daytona 500. I wish he did, kind of, but I'm even more happy that Austin Dillon won. Seriously, I mean, Austin Dillon deserved it, really, but Eric Almirola also deserved it. So I kind of wish he was able to get it, because I mean that would have been awesome. But then again, I feel bad because it's like he came that close, and when you're leading at the white flag of the Daytona 500, you're probably not going to be the winner of the race. So I feel bad for that reason, but like at the same time, I'm happy that Austin Dillon won. All right, Denny Hamlin. A lot of people hate Denny Hamlin for what happened at Martinsville last year. I don't hate Denny Hamlin. I think that was an accident. No, I don't think it was an accident. I think he intentionally moved him out of the way, but moved Chase Elliott out of the way. I know he intentionally did it because I think he said it before, but he didn't mean to wreck him. I mean, you never really mean to wreck anybody. Austin Dillon didn't mean to wreck Eric Almirola. He meant to get him loose. He meant to move him out of the way. And things go wrong when sometimes things go wrong. And it sucks, but I don't hate Denny Hamlin for that. And anybody who does is clearly an idiot. I'm going to be completely honest. Ryan Blaney, he's awesome. I love Ryan Blaney. He led a lot of the Daytona 500. He's not been doing the best this season. I don't know where is he in points. I think he's in the chase. But Ryan Blaney, he's awesome. Great guy. Great with the fans. Like Ryan Blaney, and he's got a big future ahead of him. But he needs to get some wins. Because I like Ryan Blaney. Ty Dillon, I wish that's one of the tough ones because it's like Dover last year, 50 more laps and he would have won that race. So that's one of the frustrating ones. Daytona last year too. I think he would have won that race with like 5 more laps if there's no caution. Ty Dillon, I like him, but Casey Mears deserves that ride still. I don't think they should have threw Casey Mears out for Ty Dillon, but at the same time, Ty Dillon came close twice last year to getting a win in that car, and Casey Mears only has 1 win, and it was never in that car, and it was on a fuel mileage race. Like I said about fuel mileage races, you obviously got to be strategy smart to win it, but I just feel like, you feel me? Yeah, you do. All right, Ross Chastain, the watermelon dude. I don't care. I don't care for him. I don't dislike him, but I don't like him. I mean, he's not even full time, so I can't really say anything about him. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's probably one of the ones that you guys skipped to. Was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Guess what? I'm not gonna give you that pleasure of being like, oh, Sam hates this guy. I don't hate this guy. I love this guy. I just feel like he and Kyle should have talked it out, and not in the way Stenhouse did it of going up to Kyle Busch's car right after or before qualifying. I feel like he could have done a better way of it, besides going on NASCAR.com on his phone, looking at the interview, and then going up to Kyle's car and being like, "Hey, what'd you say about me?" But not talk to him for the entire week. I like Stenhouse, but what he said at the same time about how Kyle was running his mouth. Kyle said that out of frustration. If you've ever played a video game, you'll call people things like that. You'll call them like a waste of space. You'll say things like that out of the anger in the moment, but you don't actually mean it. And Kyle didn't mean it. Kyle likes Stenhouse. I like Stenhouse. But I do think he was partially responsible for that first wreck, and he was responsible for the second wreck. So I feel like, he and Kyle should at least have talked it out. But I don't hate Stenhouse. I feel like both of them really could have handled the situation better. I feel like Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. could have both handled the situation a lot better. And Kyle Busch. I hate him. Hate him. Wish he would stop driving, you know? Nah, I've loved Kyle Busch for, 8 years now? 8 years? Probably even before that, because 2010 is when I really started following NASCAR. 2009, I saw, the M&M's car, and that's really all I knew. I knew Jimmy Johnson's name, and I knew the M&M's car. That's pretty much all I knew back in 2009. But 2010, my friend liked Kyle Busch, and I was a copycat. I was like, oh, you like Kyle Busch? I like Kyle Busch too. So I liked Kyle Busch, and my friend has changed his favorite driver over the years. He was Jimmy Johnson at one point. He was Carl Edwards at one point. But I've always stuck to Kyle Busch. No, there was one 2-week period. I think it was 6 months. I'm not sure. Where I liked Casey Kane back in 2012 because I went to the Loudon race and he won that race, and I was like, oh, I like him now. But Kyle was my second favorite during that time, and then it was 20 because Casey Kane was in the chase and Kyle wasn't in the chase, so I kind of liked him because of that. He was the guy who I was rooting for. But 2013, I started. Kyle Busch was back to number one. Daniel Suarez. I think he should have had another year in the Xfinity Series. And I don't think many people really argue that. I think he's a talented driver, and I think he really has a good shot at winning or doing well at Watkins Glen this weekend. He did well at Pocono last weekend. But he's going to need to get some wins, or Christopher Bell's there. I mean, Christopher Bell, 2019, obviously they're good. Christopher Bell won't go on that ride, but 2020, if Daniel Suarez can't step up his game, Christopher Bell's going to be coming right in that spot. They just kind of put him in without thinking after Carl retired. I think there could have been a better candidate for that. I'm not sure who it was, but I think there could have been a better candidate for the 19 car after Carl retired. But who am I? I'm just a kid from Syracuse, New York, who you've never heard of before. So what do I have to say about anything? Eric Jones. Love Eric Jones. I think he was the best replacement for Matt Kenseth. I wanted him to be in a 20 car since 2015 when he rode those 2 races after Kenseth got parked. I wanted him to be in there since then, but then again, he wasn't really ready for that. So, what can I really say? He drove for Kyle Busch one race at Kansas when Kyle Busch was injured. And he actually led practice that race. He ended up wrecking out, but Eric Jones, I was super happy when he got his first win at Daytona. Now, get this. I actually saw a tweet where after the Daytona race where someone was like, wow, that caution with 2 laps to go kept Truex from winning. Truex wins every race. I probably would have never watched NASCAR again if Truex won that race. That would have pissed me off. I love Eric Jones. He's one of my favorite drivers. I think he's in my top 10. I think he's in my top 5. Eric Jones. Yeah. Paul Menard. Not much to really say about him. We all know why he's still in this sport. And that's because of his dad being the owner of Menards. We all know why. That's the reason he's still here. He won 1 race on fuel mileage at Indy in 2011. Again, fuel mileage does take skill, but I mean, Menard, he hasn't been able to get much. I mean, he won the pole at Chicago, and I don't think he led in a single lap that race. So he never smiles either. But that makes him a living meme, too. That's part of the reason he's still around, too, is because he's a living meme. So, I mean, maybe if he doesn't step it up, we could put Christopher Bell in there. Because I think Christopher Bell is ready for a ride in the Cup Series. Logano! Love Logano. Think he's amazing. And this is probably one of the ones that he skipped to, expecting that I'd be hating on him. But no. Logano, I love Logano. Just because he got into a fight with Kyle Busch doesn't mean I hate him. I'm a pretty forgiving dude. It's not like he wins all the time either. He used to, but he doesn't anymore. So, I like Logano. It's just that Talladega win pissed me off. And it's not because he won it, it's because nobody tried. Nobody did a thing to try to win until the last lap. That might have worked like 5 years ago, but it doesn't work anymore. That whole race pissed me off, though. J.J. Yaley. He doesn't race full time, so I can't really say anything about it. No one really knows who he is. I mean, obviously you know who J.J. Yaley is, but I just don't care. He used to drive the 18 a few races in, like, I think it was like 2006 or something. But he never really performed, so he's in the Xfinity Series, and he doesn't do shit. So, J.J. Yaley, BK Racing's where he belongs. William Byron in the 24. Here's my thoughts. When they announced it, that he was going to be riding for Hendrick in the 24, I didn't really care that he was going to be in the 24, but just the fact that he was being brought up to Cup already kind of struck me. Obviously, he was good in the Truck Series, should have won the championship, but I said to myself, I don't think he's ready. And at the time, I didn't know if he was going to win the Xfinity Championship or not, but I said to myself, if he does not win this championship, he's definitely not ready. If he wins a championship, he's kind of ready, but if he doesn't win it, he's definitely not ready. He won the championship, so that's something, but I just don't feel like he's ready. He led a few laps at Daytona in the summer, and then wrecked. I feel like he would have gotten a top 10 in that race, but I just don't feel like he's ready for it. He's a great driver, but he's just not ready for it. Ryan Newman. You probably think I hate him, but I don't. I like Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman's a great driver, and I like somebody who races hard. I went to that race in 2011 that he won, so that's something. Ryan Newman's a pretty good driver. I don't know why people hate him. Do people hate Ryan Newman? I don't know. I like his attitude. I like his, kind of... I don't like the pushiness in his attitude and the negativity, but, like, when he's happy, I like it. But you never really hear much from him. He races hard, and that's it. Matt DiBenedetto. People think he's, like, one of the greatest drivers. Like, if he was with a better team. But I think he'd definitely be getting top 10s, top 15s if he was with a better team. Because he's gotten, like, 5 top 10s while with this team. But I feel like he would not be a race-winning contender unless if it was Daytona or Talladega. So, Matt DiBenedetto, great driver, but a great guy, but he's just not, like, the greatest. And he would not be, getting win after win if he was with a better team. So, Matt DiBenedetto, that's all I really got to say about him. Not going to talk about the beef with him and Eric Almirola, because it's just petty beef. Michael McDowell. He ran for Kyle Busch that one race in 2011 when he was parked at Texas, And out of everybody that you could have picked for that ride, you picked Michael McDowell. Are you serious? My question always was, well then who filled in for McDowell's usual ride at that race? You like that sound? Michael McDowell, I don't hate him. He led a lot of laps at Daytona this season. But then he got wrecked out. I like Michael McDowell, but he's just not a good driver. And he proved that by running in Kyle Busch's car in 2011, and he ran like 34th or something. So Michael McDowell, not a good driver. Chris Buescher, he got that win at Pocono, and I know you guys are going to say it's rain shortened, but he had to plan out the fuel strategy and the rain. So any win takes skill. Like any win. Seriously, there's never been a win that doesn't take skill. I mean, just to be in the race takes skill. So Chris Buescher, I feel like if he was with a better team, he could be getting more top 10s, but it's like now it's just like the road courses that he's getting top 10s at. Like Sonoma, he does pretty well at that race. David Reagan. I learned to love David Reagan. You know why? Because he ran 10 or 9 of the 11 races that was when Kyle Busch was out. He ran 9 of the 10 races in the 18 car when Kyle Busch was out in 2015. Or 9 of the 11 races. So I learned to root for him. Plus, he's a great guy. Outspoken, but a great guy. And is that his cousin or his brother? I think it's his cousin. His cousin's awesome too. So David Reagan, I like him. I wish he would get more than just restrictor plate wins, and I wish he would get a win in the first place because he hasn't won since 2013, and I didn't even watch that race. But David Reagan, I like him. Yeah, he's my 10th favorite driver. Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, I like Kurt Busch. He used to be really angry all the time. He like that time he said that he was gonna beat the shit out of Bob Pockrass. I think that's what he said. And he used to be really angry. But apparently there was something a few years ago where he hit his wife. I don't believe that for a second. And the only reason I don't believe it is because why? No, because his wife was like apparently like a ninja or some shit. My dad even said that. Like, my dad never defends like a abuse situation, but like he said it doesn't seem like the most legitimate thing because his wife was like a ninja or some shit. So I don't believe it. Kurt Busch is a great guy, great driver. He's grown over the years. From used to be a guy who got angry all the time. Now he only gets angry some of the time, but he's always been a great driver. Always liked Kurt Busch. Obviously Kyle's brother too, so kind of biased. Kyle Larson. I literally hope every Kyle and Kyle show, from now until the end of both of their career, Kyle Busch wins, just because it's funny. It's funny to me. I love Kyle Larson now. Great driver. Gotta answer this text. But yeah, he's a great driver. and he's going to get some wins this season. I'm surprised that he hasn't yet, but he's going to get a win this season. I think Michigan is going to win. Bubba Wallace, my second favorite driver. He's done so much for the sport. He's really made it more popular among the African American spectrum. And I really respect him for that tweet he made about a year ago where he said that he was the only black driver, and he's going to hear that for his whole life, that he's the black driver. And he doesn't care. He's going to embrace that. So I appreciate that. That could be a big, pull for anybody else, but he's good. And I wish he was getting more wins. Because he's a good driver. But he got no wins in the Xfinity Series. And they put him up here. Obviously, he's a good driver. And I think he does belong in Cup, even still with no Xfinity wins. But Richard Petty Motorsports is the reason that he's not doing that well. If he was doing better with another team, I think he could be doing better with another team. But, and you can prove it, Eric Almirola was finishing the same way Bubba Wallace is now. And he moved from Petty Motorsports to another team, Stuart Haas, and he's doing a lot better. He's getting top 10 finishes. I think Bubba Wallace could be the same too, and he's not going to be moving out of Petty Motorsports. It came out last week that he's staying there until 2020, at least. But yeah, AJ Allmendinger. I think AJ Allmendinger is a great driver. Definitely great on road courses. I think he has a good shot this weekend at Watkins Glen. AJ Allmendinger, he's a great guy too. I was at the race that he won a few years back at Watkins Glen. That was his first and only win to this day. He gets so much pressure at the road course races, though. That's why I think he does not, do so well at them. Another one you guys probably skipped to. Jimmy Johnson. Don't like him. And I like him, but I don't like him as a driver. He's a good driver, but I don't like him as a driver. And it's because he used to win too much. I don't want him to win this season, or at least not until the playoffs. I hope he doesn't make it to the playoffs. And right now it's looking like he will, but a few bad finishes, and he won't. But I'm hoping he doesn't win. Better not win at Dover, because I'm going to that race. And if he wins that race, I'm going to be really mad. So let's hope Johnson doesn't win that race. BJ McLeod. I don't really know who that is. I seriously, what's his picture look like? What's this dude look like? How old is he? Yeah, I don't know who that is. I've seen the name on the ticker, but I don't really know who it is. Timmy Hill. I only know him because he got that one top 5 finish at Talladega in the Xfinity Series a few years ago. He's not a good driver. I mean, wait, no, that was not even Timmy Hill. That was Joey Gase. My bad. Timmy Hill, yeah, he's not a good driver. He's seriously not. I don't say that about many people, but he's not a good driver. I mean, it's that simple. Corey LaJoie, same thing, not a good driver. He's just not. It's not only that they're driving front-to-fronted teams, they're actually bad drivers. So, that's all I can say. Ha! It's probably one you guys skipped to. Truex! Martin Truex Jr. Now, I'll get the negatives out of the way first so we can, on a positive note. He wins too much. And I know what you guys are thinking. Kyle Busch wins too much, but he's my favorite driver, so I'm naturally okay with it. He wins too much, and he intentionally wrecked Kyle Busch during the Brickyard 400 last year, when Kyle Busch was going for 3 straight Brickyard 400 wins, and he dominated the first stage and 2 stages, and he was leading on a restart, and Truex intentionally wrecked him. And don't say, oh no, Sam, it wasn't intentional. It was intentional! Okay? It was intentionally wrecking him. And I'm happy that he crashed, too. But then he won the championship last year. That made me want to puke. But he's a good driver, though. I mean, just when he gets in that car, though, I don't like him. I don't. But he does a lot for charities, and he's a great guy. So I like Truex. I just don't like him as a driver. Alex Bowman. He is a great freaking driver. I love Alex Bowman. He's going to get a win this season. I firmly believe that he will get a win this season. Phoenix, he's good at. New Hampshire, maybe. Oh, no, there's no more New Hampshire races because they took that one away. But Bowman is my 3rd favorite driver. So, I love Alex Bowman. He's great. Casey Kane. See, my thing about him is that he did not do that good with Hendrick. You would see his name in the ticker like 25th a lot of races. And he did get some wins with them. He got Indy, he got Atlanta, he got Bristol, Pocono, he got New Hampshire, he got Charlotte with Hendrick. So he got some wins, but I mean, it took him 2-3 years to get another win. So, and that was with the best team. And still at the time, it was the best team. So, Casey Kane, I like Casey Kane. He's really quiet, though. Like, he never talks. He's just always kind of sitting there just minding his own business. So, I like him. But Michigan, he was doing pretty well there this year. And then I think he finished like a lap down. But Levine Family Racing, I knew when he was going there, he was not going to win any races. I thought like maybe be some good finishes for Levine Family Racing because they don't have any really. But I knew that he was just going to be riding around, running laps. And it sucks because he is a better driver than Levine Family Racing. But he was not providing results, and it's the same situation Suarez is going to be in. If he does not provide results, there's going to be younger guys coming up. And that's what happened with Casey Kane. Jeffrey Earnhardt. I think he's way more popular than he needs to be because of his name, really. I remember watching a qualifying session a few years back at Daytona, and there was like 5 people in the grandstands, it looked like, but he was like leading practice or some shit, and the whole crowd was cheering. Like, it sounded like a whole entire stadium was there because Jeffrey Earnhardt was leading practice. And there was like 10 people in the grandstands. So he's more popular than he needs to be because he's not that great of a driver, but he's a great guy, though. So, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Kyle Weatherman, I don't know who the hell that is. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you guys like this video, please leave a like on it. If you dislike this video, please leave a dislike and a hate comment telling me exactly what I did wrong. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And as always, goodbye, bunny rabbits.